The next point that I wrote down was the world peace and universal knowledge of God. So, Rabbinic Judaism has a criticism that the Messianic age is supposed to bring you universal peace and recognition of God, which has not, according to them, occurred after Jesus's lifetime. The Orthodox teaching is we view Christ as the Prince of Peace, Isaiah 9:6, who brings peace not only between nations, but more importantly, between God and humanity. The church teaches that Christ's peace begins within the hearts of believers. This is part of the second covenant, reconciling them to God and to one another through the Holy Spirit. This inner peace is the foundation of outward peace, which is progressively realized as more people embrace Christ. So this fullness of the universal peace is expected to be fulfilled in the second coming of Christ, when he will establish a new heaven and a new earth, Revelation 21:1. Bringing the total end of sin, conflict, and death, but he's already defeated death and he's already defeated sin through the incarnation, the resurrection, and the ascension. So, what would be your line of attack regarding the rabbinic criticism of world peace and knowledge of God, universal knowledge of God?
Yeah, it's different in the Orthodox Study Bible because the ordering of Jeremiah is different, and it's a little confusing because I just reread Jeremiah the other day and finished that, and I noticed that in the Protestant Bible, it's Jeremiah 31 and 33. If you read those two chapters, which is where the famous New Covenant statement is, in the Orthodox Bible, it's 38. It says, "Behold, the days are coming when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers when I took their hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt." So notice the new covenant, this one that's coming, is going to replace the Mosaic.
Right.
So the Mosaic, and we would agree as Orthodox that there is a spiritual interpretation which allows it to still be eternal. It's just not eternal in its literal historical keeping, right, by sacrificing animals and all this kind of stuff. It's kept, a la Jesus in Matthew 5 saying that not one jot or one tittle passes. It's kept in the proper way spiritually, which is, by the way, how ultimately it was always supposed to be kept. The meaning all along, according to Paul, of don't sew two garments on one garment, was a spiritual thing about not being yoked together with evil. It's supposed to teach you. It's a pedagogical device to teach you not to sow two different things in a field, meaning don't unite with evil, right? It's teaching you virtue and vice. Unclean animals, they symbolize demons and vices in the Old Testament. Right. And so they were supposed to learn this. That's the real meaning of it. So when the reality comes of the new covenant, which again, remember, it is not according to the Mosaic covenant. So there is a clear discrepancy between this coming Messianic covenant. And then it says, each of them shall teach his neighbor. They will not teach their neighbor know the Lord, for they will all know me from the least to the greatest. Who are the members of this universal knowledge here? And if you have the Protestant Bible, Jeremiah 31, the Orthodox Bible, Jeremiah 38, it's the people that have the law written on their hearts, which is the presence of the Holy Spirit in them. It's the church. So the universality that you're talking about is identified even in the Jeremiah passage as those who have the Holy Spirit in them in the church.
Right. The point 5 that I wrote down is rabbinic criticism regarding the perfect observance of the Torah. They claim that the Messiah is expected to lead all people in perfect Torah observance, yet Jesus' teachings are often appeared to deviate from traditional Jewish law according to rabbinic tradition. Orthodoxy teaches that Jesus perfectly fulfilled the Torah and the law through his life, death, and resurrection. He is seen as not abolishing the law, but fulfilling its deepest intent. Matthew 5:17. Jesus' interpretation of the law emphasized its spirit rather than its letter, focusing on the love of God and neighbor as the highest commandments. For Orthodox Christians, the new covenant established by Christ is the ultimate expression of God's law, written on the hearts of all believers rather than on stone tablets. The life of the church, guided by the Holy Spirit, is seen as the true continuation of Torah observance fulfilled through Christ.
Yeah, this helps to understand what Torah is. So Torah is the word that God spoke, particularly, obviously, at Mount Sinai. And if we remember the way that Jesus argues in John 5 through 9, It wasn't God the Father. So who was Moses face to face with? It has to be some other being. Now, the rabbinic idea is, oh, it's these angels, it's Metatron, it's all this different angelic, veil between Moses even and God. But yet we're told that Moses saw God face to face, even in the Old Testament. So how is that possible? Well, it's possible because there is this mediator, there is this second person that is able to be seen and interacted with. It's the voice that was walking in the garden. And by the way, he appears again multiple times, even in the historical books of the Kings, as the voice walking and doing things, the logos walking around. So the whole idea is that the Torah is the word in a written form, but when Messiah comes, he is the living Torah. Right. So he is the living Torah. So it's not that we're displacing Torah for some other thing. It's that this was meant as his speech in a created form to point us to the uncreated speech in reality walking around with us when he's incarnate.